like today, we have a version of a myth in 2025
Hmm.
that is used to enforce public health and it actually saves lives,
Yeah.
but it's a complete lie. Is that moral? To lie to people to get them to follow a certain set of health rules that actually saves lives, but the reason they're doing it is completely made up.
I mean, I feel like we definitely have a lot of that, and some are more or less well intentioned. And I think, especially now with all the media lying and all this, is just like how much of it. But that's honestly the part that bothers me with today's
Like a
example. Like, for example,
purposeful lie?
no, but like during the pandemic, for
Okay.
example, I feel like there was a lot of that. And, like, I think while maybe wrong, ethically would be okay if it did actively save lives and protect people. But the fact is that I think most lies that we see today do not benefit the general good, the general public. It benefits specific individuals that are trying to stay in power, that are trying to make more money or something like this. So it's a double wrong. But I would say, from an ethical standpoint, if you are lying to someone or to people and actively saving their lives by doing so, what you're doing is inherently good.
I see. I think you could separate it out into short term and long term effects. I think
Sure.
we saw this a lot during COVID, where there were a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but there were some health officials
Mhm.
bending the truth to fear monger with things
Yeah.
like masks or jabs to encourage people to get the
But the masks were
let
on
me finish.
lies.
Get the vaccine.
Uh-huh.
There were people that were not being 100% honest with the effectiveness of
Sure.
certain things.
Sure.
I'll say that. That was definitely true at the
Mhm.
beginning of the pandemic. That's not just due to lying, that's also due to limited
I
information.
was about to
That's
say
due
that.
but let's say there's another pandemic
Okay.
and the health officials choose to lie to people and they say, if you take this pill, you're 100%, 100% effectively protected against this virus X,
Uh-huh.
let's call it. But it's actually only 50% protection.
Mm.
But if you say it's 50%,
But then it would hurt them more.
people would be like, well, if I'm only 50% protected, well, I'll just take my chances. If you lie to people and say they're 100%
Yeah.
protected, let's say a lot more people take the pill and then they lie and the lives get saved. In the short term, you're saving lives, but in the long term, you're creating societal distrust
Yeah.
with medical officials in the medical
Yeah.
industry to where if the next thing happens, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, fuck off, like, I'm not listening to you."
I do agree with you that that's absolutely true. But also, I think if it was the case where we're like, oh, this pill work 100% of the time, and it's like, let's say, another COVID thing, and it only works 50%, what they are doing is actually harming 50% of the population. Because then if you're like, I'm 100% safe against COVID, therefore I won't need to wear a mask anymore. I won't need to be as careful. I can encounter and hang out with people that have COVID because I'm fully protected. So this would be technically as harm. I mean, and that is if you have a 50% chance of being 100% protected against COVID. So it depends as well, like if it, or you're like 50% protected against COVID. So you are effectively putting 100% of people in danger, or 50%,
Yeah.
depending on what it is. But so in your example, I don't think it would necessarily work because you would be endangering people at the same time.
So here, I asked ChatGPT to generate me a 2025 version of
Okay.
the cannibalism myth, basically like
Okay.
a medical myth that people would actually believe today
Mm-hmm.
that's related to health. And so ChatGPT came up with this myth. If you skip too many vaccines, your
Mm-hmm.
immune system forgets how to store long term defenses with something called immune memory loss. Now, if everyone believed this in 2025 and they chose to not only get themselves vaccinated on schedule, but their children, and this is completely false, by the way. There is no such thing as
Mm-hmm.
immune memory loss. Your immune system doesn't forget how to fight long-term
Oh, that's
things.
what he meant by this? I thought it was like your immune system is lacking and so you're losing your memory.
No, no, no. So, like, immune memory loss,
Sure,
it's
okay.
like if you miss the schedule of vaccines, your body forgets how to
That
store
that he had
long-term
ever
defenses.
okay,
That's
okay,
not
okay.
true at all.
No, no, no,
But if
yeah.
people believe that, a much higher percentage of people would probably
Yeah.
go get their scheduled vaccines. It's a complete lie.
What
It's not harming people, but is that
yeah.
justified?
Well, okay, so what I think is so interesting with both these stories, whether it's the werewolf, where you have, if you eat other human beings, you're gonna have diseases that kill you. And then the other one, which is with the vaccine, is just like, if you don't get your vaccines, the virus will kill you. People are like, it's fine, I don't need it. But then if you're like, well, you'll turn into a wolf or your immune
Yeah.
system's gonna degrade, you're like, ooh la la.
You need a punishment.
Actually,
The myth doesn't work without the punishment.
I mean, in 2025, it should be something like, oh, um, if you don't do your vaccine, you're gonna end up looking like Trump or something.
I mean, there would be a lot of people, who take the vaccine then,
Or
yeah.
you're gonna speak like RFK Jr.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who doesn't wanna speak like RFK or who isn't attracted to Donald Trump would definitely take the
Okay,
vaccine.
if you are genuinely sexually attracted to Donald Trump, no matter what your political orientation is, I think you need to get checked up by a doctor.
I'm sure they're niche OnlyFans videos, for sure. There's some role play going on in the Trumpverse.
I was starting to be hungry, but my appetite's all gone.
That's fine. So basically to wrap up the Lysaon myth,
Mm,
is it moral to have a myth that saves people's lives that's a complete lie?
I think
If it's
okay.
actually saving if people less people are dying because they believe something that's not true, is it moral to spread that myth?
My belief is that if the lie is not actually harmful to anyone, and in that particular case, uh, it's just like, I mean, yeah, like maybe the negative thing is just that you're like, oh, you lied to us. We can't trust you. And there's always, like a little bit of leeway. Just like, oh, we thought that was true. We made a mistake, which happens all the time.
Mhm.
Um, or like we didn't know enough, which was true during the pandemic. Like they gave us information on how to protect ourselves as best as they could as it came along, but it was just kind of like very new in a way. But to me, yeah, if like we take the example that you just gave, and it's not really harmful to anyone, why not? You could ask the same question with religion. It's just like, I mean, based on what you believe, you could be like, you're just believing in a bunch of lies. And it's just like, and again, I think with religion it's a bit tricky, but if you are a kind human and these are your beliefs and you're not forcing them upon anyone, it's not harming anyone
But
for you to believe that.
I would say without categorizing religion as a truth versus a lie, I'd say the difference is that in my example, you'd have medical health professionals that know better spreading a purposeful lie to save
But
people's
who's
lives.
spreading the
Let
lies?
me finish.
Okay.
The medical professionals are spreading the
I thought it was
lie.
the government. So,
Well, the government working with medical professionals, any people that know better are lying. The people who are spreading the lie know it's a lie, and
yeah,
they're
but
spreading it to the people.
we used to having a government lie to us. I mean, it's just like, when did they not lie to us?
Yeah, but
A long time ago,
I'm
maybe.
saying medical professionals.
Sure, but you did
Take the
not.
government away for
Okay,
now.
you did not say it was medical professional lying to your face. You just said that that was the
Uh,
myth, but not who was spreading
So
it.
the doctors and government get together
Okay.
and they say we're going to lie to the people and tell them that your immune system forgets how to store long-term defenses against diseases if you miss vaccines.
It's
They
not
both know it's a lie and they're spreading it to the average person.
okay, in all fairness, it is not entirely a lie in that particular example, which is what like it
It
depends on the
is though.
depending on the vaccines, which is why like there are some shots that you need to get like every year or every 10 years or something like that. Like it does eventually wear off to
Sure,
some
but that
kind.
those are for uh different variants, but there's no such thing as immune memory loss.
No,
That's
not
just
literally,
not.
but like that could be also you could argue it's a way for the lay person to
Sure,
understand
but
what's going on.
let's for the argument's sake, it's a complete lie.
Sure.
Whatever the lie is, in my example, you have medical professionals and the government uh conspiring together to lie to the average person, and a medical professional gets on CNN or Fox News and says, "Hey, you need to get your vaccines because of insert lie. The lie doesn't matter, but everyone in government and
Yeah.
the medical community knows it's a lie. In the religious example, the people who are telling other people to believe almost always believe as strong or more
Okay.
strongly than the people they're telling
Okay.
the belief to.
I will say that if, for example, the pandemic did not wane down after the vaccinations roll out, etc., that clearly, like, I know that not everybody got the vaccine against COVID, but ultimately enough people did that it waned down the pandemic. If the pandemic was not lowering down because people were not getting vaccinated and we had tried everything we had done to that point, but we just kept having people dying and dying, and they were like, okay, let's try this strategy where we're telling people this. If clearly death is not enough for them to worry because they're like, I'm young or whatever reason, if like everything we've told them, like the long-term COVID, the death, like everything, they're like, I don't care. I'm still not getting vaccinated. And then they decided, okay, let's try to say that. Or maybe that not getting COVID causes autism. Apparently that's making a lot of people not get vaxxed. So maybe the opposite will work. Eh, Even though that was a lie, I would say that's fine because you've tried to be honest and people are being jerks and it's killing people. So fine.
I would be for short-term myth making, bending the truth in extremely, extremely, extremely horrific circumstances where calculations were made, and if a certain number of people didn't get certain medical treatment, a ton of people would die. I I
I mean, that was a pandemic.
I would be for bending the truth slightly or withholding some information in order for people to get the treatment that they needed on a massive scale. Now, but you have to be willing to dish it and take it.
Hmm.
When you choose to bend that truth, you are now opening yourself up to people to say, "Hey, you lied to us 5 years ago. Why should I believe you now?" And then you then have to answer to that and be honest with people.
Yeah,
If you keep lying to them, then the
sure.
whole shit goes off the
But
rails.
in all fairness, climate change. Scientists have been saying that humans have been causing climate change. It's gonna be like the death of every life on Earth for over 50 years. And there's still a ton of people that are just like, that's not true, that's not happening. Even though like now more than ever we have so much evidence of it happening. So like we have scientists that never
I
lied to
think the
anyone.
average person would say that climate change exists. I think total climate change deniers are very rare. I think people just disagree on the level that humans are responsible for it. I don't think there's
Yeah,
many
but
people
like
that are like,
okay,
it's not a thing.
sure, if you want to say that, but like the fact that scientists I've been saying that humans were responsible for this. It was not just like one of those climate change thing where sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot. Like this very version of climate change has been shown to the public for over 50 years and there's just so many people that are like I don't think it's our fault because it inconveniences
But
them. But ultimately that's my point. The only point that I'm trying to make is that no matter how truthful scientists are being, there's always going to be people that don't believe them. So
sure,
if I can save
and
lives, why not?
it can say, I'm saying there's a cost to it.
Sure.
If you lie to
Sure.
people and they find out, you then have no legs to stand on the next time the climate change. Let's say
Sure.
humanity's good for 1,000, and I'll get off this. We'll go back to
Yeah.
the werewolf stuff, so it doesn't turn into an hour and a half climate change podcast. But um, you have to be willing to say this is such a horrific, heinous
Uh-huh.
situation that there may not be any time after that to catch up, because
Yeah.
let's say climate change 1.0 goes away for, a few hundred years, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden there's another scare or new technology, and it becomes well known in history that scientists got out of climate change 1.0 by lying.
Mhm.
When the next wave comes, people remember history. We're talking things that happened thousands of years ago.
Sure.
You then will have much more trouble getting people on board for the second round. So I'm not s- I'm saying it depends on the situation, but then you have to be willing to say as a scientist or as a government official, not so much government officials because they'll just lie and lie and lie and not care, but as a health professional,
Sure.
if you break your oath and lie, you then can't be angry when people don't believe you later.
But the oath is to save lives. The oath that
I
doctors
I
take
think
is
there's
about.
something in there about, truth and
I
being
mean, they
true,
have to
like
respect certain beliefs, etc. But I think if it can be about. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to ask your
sure,
brother for that.
but
But
I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying short term you can
okay,
save lives, but you have to be okay with
sure.
long term people are not gonna believe
So
you.